just want to welcome everybody to the Enniskillen General Store presentation. We should be done in about 30 minutes and we would have time for questions. So feel free. So we're here today to talk about Enniskillen General Store. Two things is I'm going to share some things with you. At all, I give you a little disclaimer. We don't make any disclaimer that we guarantee any of this sales or costs or anything. You need to do your homework. We know this is as accurate as we have at this time, and we'll go through. At any time, if you do have a question, we do have a chat button that you can just leave me a question. And if I can answer it, that would be great. If not, I may ask you for it at the end. So basically, what we are basically is a general store. So it's really a debate of where we are. We've been around for about 180 years. And in Enniskillen, and that's the east end of GTA. We currently have 5 stores. So some people say we're an ice cream parlor with a general store attached, and some people say we're a general store with an ice cream parlor. At the end of the day, we have a combination of a few things. We have, and we'll get into it, but we have this great ice cream and this great relationship that we have with Quattro Dairies that really we've been with them for over 80 years, and that's one thing that we make that we become very unique. Sorry. So what makes our reason for customers to come in every day to us? So what's great about us is that we have everybody coming in for the convenience. So in this picture, you'll see that we have confectionaries, we have some medical stuff like aspirins, we have local fudges, local pies, we have local hot sauce. So we are very, very community generated. And we always say what this is most important is we're a community hub. So what we want to do at each of our outlets is create that community more important than any of the other convenience stores that are out there. We want to give people more reason to come to us within your community. So that out of all this is number one. Number two would be a destination for ice cream. You'll see in our presentation that ice cream sales at some of our places have maybe over 50% of their product mix goes to ice cream, and then the rest goes to everything else. You'll see that our product mix is designed for reoccurring traffic. So we rely on repeat customers and also brand new customers. So let's talk about the convenience store business. So in Canada, this is about $11.3 billion business. So there's enough business for us, 7-Eleven, Hasty Markets, Circle K. Those would be some of our competitors that are our competitors for the convenience stores. 90% of households purchase ice cream, and 85% of retail still happens in person. So as much as we say that everything's online, people are still, when it comes to the convenience stores, people are still in. I visit my last convenience store, and I'm waiting 15 minutes just to get served. So it states that people are still purchasing product in store. And more than 60% of people visit convenience stores weekly. Okay, so there is a reason why people will come. So this slide shows the behavior that drives um, the industry. So a lot of it is based on convenience. That's why it's called a convenience store. But basically, it's instead of going to a grocery store, they come to us, or instead of going to a coffee cafe, they come to us. Okay? Or they're able to pick up a few things at one spot. Okay? Um, the other thing that we do with our business is we have lottery, and the lottery is not, so you know, a money making business. Everybody says, "Oh my God, lottery is probably the best part of the business." Well, it is a great part of the business, but it's not. It's not you don't make money. You get paid a service charge, and you're hoping people come in and impulse buying. The other thing is convenience stores become a habit. Just like in the morning, people have a habit to come to a Starbucks. This is the same type of business. People will come in. So in the summertime, or they go in as a treat every Saturday night. They come in for an ice cream, that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, if you take a look at our convenience stores, you'll see that we have some meat, we have some eggs, of course, we have drinks, we have um, uh, we have about 4 or 5 tables in our place, so they can come in and sit down and have um, their ice cream. We have a rewards program, and we also have some local merchandise. So basically, there's some souvenirs, because if you're some of our places are in where summertime is a little bit higher sales than wintertime, because it's cottage season. So we have some souvenirs and merchandise. So how did we evolve? Okay. So basically, what happened in the convenience store evolution is it went from basic needs to very modern design. We got our product and category of a stronger mix. So basically, when you came in the olden days, it was, you know, 10 items, very simple, put on a shelf. The modern convenience store is now trying to meet the needs of 80% of the customer base. And then what we did is we took what we evolved and we put it into a franchise model. So Enniskillen 1840 was our first when we opened. It's actually in a town of Enniskillen. It is a population of 2,200 people, and basically it's also our highest volume store. So it's something interesting because people always says to me, "Oh, I want to be on Main and Main," yet in this case, we're probably on Fourth and Fourth, and it's still our highest volume store. And the reason why it's our highest volume store, we feel, is because of this Quatha dairy advantage. In Ontario, this is a trusted brand. It's also a premium brand, and again, it has right now is we grew up on Quatha dairies, our kids grew up on Quatha dairies, and our grandkids grew up on Quatha dairies. So basically, we have a lot of family that come to our place. We're not like a, convenience store, 7-Eleven and everything, where, you have a different variety of people coming. We have mostly seasonal traffic or families. So we want everybody to have a different day part, and it's very important, and I keep mentioning this, convenience, ice cream, lottery, and alcohol. So with alcohol, depending on the area that you grow, there's two types of license. You can actually be a retailer, which means then you're allowed hard liquor, or you can be like the provincial government did, allow people to have beer and wine. If you're a become a retailer, then you're only the government controls how much you can make a profit on, and it's 10%. If you're a just beer and wine, you really can charge whatever you want, whatever the market bears. But really, your markup to make you competitive is on the alcohol is going to be about 20 to 25%. So, like I said, is we want people to come in the morning for quick essential beverages. We're adding a coffee program for that with a retail outlet for donuts, muffins. Then you want people to come back in the afternoon for the lottery because that's when people mostly buy lottery. And then in the evening, you want them to come back for the alcohol to come in and they're having a party or a barbecue. And then a weekend business becomes a destination. So what makes us different than any of the convenience stores is we're a destination. And that's why our sales are very good. So if you look at it, as of September 5th, 2024, I know it's a little bit outdated. There's about 4,100, 4,200 licensed convenience stores out there. And basically that are serving the cider, the beer, the wine, and the ready to drink. So this was something that when we first started and the government allowed it, 1,900 licenses were issued all in the first week. So everybody is on the bandwagon, let's say. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our difference between us, and I'll take you probably that one of the strongest brands out there in the convenience store is probably 7-Eleven. So if you're looking for a convenient foundation, I would say they have a very strong foundation. They're very, very good at what they do, and they have a lot of SKUs, and they have the Slurpee, and they have the coffee program, and now they're getting into a little bit of the sandwich program. Your typical convenience store, small, dirty, run down, locally ran. Half the time nothing gets rung into the cash register, and then you have Enniskillen. We do have an Eastern GTA, a very strong presence. Then when you talk about the brand system, you have a highly structured. So 7-Eleven has a system. You're in there. You're really a manager within that system. There's really no systems when you have a local store. They go out, they buy everywhere, they come in once a week, twice a week, they do their runs. We've included a strong franchise model. We've rewritten all of our operation manuals, training manuals. We've set up distribution across Canada. We had our director of operations go right in and rewrite all of our margins. So again, we are really, really structured if you're looking for a structured franchise. The community feel, 7-Eleven is convenience. Local store, yeah, there's typical come in every week, you get your lottery, you know the person by name, they know what you want. So there's that typical community feel. Enniskillen is the core. That's the core of the brand. And that's why during this presentation, I will be stressing that always. Core of the brand is community. So destination, limited by location, usually limited. And then we are become a local destination. Okay, so hard to find is 7-Eleven in your area. Corner stores are on every corner. But with us, we become a destination. So we don't need as many locations as some of the other ones, is because people come to us because of the ice cream. And again, Heritage, one is a corporate chain, one is a variety, and we have a Ontario story. So if you take a look at us, this chart is always very good. So we talk about everyday convenience and a destination. If you look at, compared to us and our competitors, we're really between Dairy Queen and Enniskillen General Store. We have both really, you know, a feeling of destination, and again, there's a broad appeal. So that's where we play, where 7-Eleven, Circle K, they play more in the everyday convenience. And this is really, really important to understand this chart. That's where we want to play, and that's why we've been so successful. If you look at the cost of this, okay, so again, this is taken from our FDD. And again, you look at your minimum costs, $35,000 franchise fee. Again, you need signage, you need some development costs for real estate, you need your leasehold improvements, your rent, your furniture, your equipment, your computers, professional fees. Opening inventory, we say, is about 50,000, could be 75,000, depending on your area. You need uniforms, you need a grand opening party, you need some extra expenses for training. So that's if you're out of town and you need to buy a hotel and some food, you need some expenses. You need a design fee, layout fee. You need a working capital, some insurance, security system, and we put $5,000 miscellaneous, and we put $15,000 for working capital. So you're looking at about a 245 minimum investment, okay? And it really shouldn't exceed a lot more. It all depends on location. It depends on how much inventory. It depends on the status of the condition of the real estate. Okay. Question that just came up, and I was going to get into, but do we provide bank financing? So we do not provide bank financing. We do have a broker that we have used, and you don't have to use this broker, but we do have a broker who will pre-qualify you to see if you can get a loan. You have what we call a small business loan, an SBL. And basically, what this is a government guarantee where you're only liable for 25% of the loan, and the rest is liable from a from the government. My apologies. With that being said, let's call this 240, 250, 300,000. Let's say just 300,000 for max. You're going to need about $100,000 of liquid cash, and the rest going to be financed from a bank. Okay, so they will only finance 70% of the deal, and the rest can be financed is liquid cash. So let's just talk about margins, okay? And basically, if you look at it, your ice cream, you sell it for $1.50, you're going to make 75 cents on it. We sell it for more. Candy has a 50% margins. You see a lottery have a 5%, and your lottery scratch an 8%. So part of this is we do not charge royalties on lottery because it's a very low margin, and we don't want you to be paying royalties on that. Dairy is a service, is another lower margin. And again, you just have it there for convenience. But you see that most of the stuff is anywhere from 40 to 50% margins, which is outstanding. Again, cigarettes, very low margins. So lottery, cigarettes, and dairy, lower margins. Everything else you can see is really, um, 35 to 50% margins, which are very good these days. So, what type of real estate are we looking for? We're looking for a neighborhood plaza, a main either so where everybody stops. Not necessarily. We're not looking necessarily for a big box. We'd like to have a small plaza where we can be present. Um, Main Street, so walk by regular routines. Um, you know, Downtown Markham, Unionville, that kind of stuff, or an indoor retail setting, so a mall type of settings. I have another question that just came up: is who will take care of the real estate? So, very good question. So we have people on the streets. We will take care of the real estate part of it and help you negotiate it because we have brokers across Ontario and across Canada that will help you negotiate the deal. At the end of the day, the franchisor and the franchisee has to approve the deal. So powerful of the, again, you know, we we want the community-based people. We want to have that power connection. We also have loyalty program. So this is what this is about. Um, and that's what the large scale franchises can't do. They can't do, they struggle to do that. Where we have the ice cream loyalty program that really, there was someone that, it's interesting. There's someone who into our stores as a kid. He brought his son. Now he's bringing his grandson. But okay, he's middle age, and he is now working with us to buy a franchise. So that's where he's saying, "I'm here with three generations, and I now believe in the brand and want to be able to grow the brand." So at the end of the day, why community based? Why are we focusing on it? Because if you take a look at this, local brand goodwill adds up for about 20%. Customer loyalty adds up for 25%. We have about 35% repeat business. And then getting our name out in the community is 20%. So really, convenience gets you your first visit. Community drives the return visit. So at this one is what's great about the repeat customer is is frequent visits of someone coming in with small purchases that they just come in, they grab a stick of gum, or they were in their car and they spilled coffee and they need that Tide, or they come in for a small cone. The frequent visit to us, it actually builds up. The other part of why we focus on getting repeat customers is because it's a routine. It makes sales steadier. This is generic, meaning that it makes sense. It also brings habits. Habit brings value. So the regular customer becomes more valuable than just getting the new one. If you can get more regular customers coming in and getting new ones that become regular customers, you're going to have a stronger business. And then you need to have a destination draw. So we do have candies that grew up in the 80s and the 90s that are unique, like the Nerds, as example, as a candy that we do have. And then we have a destination where we have a local fudges, local hot sauce, something that will draw customers into the store and purchase it. Routine is the most important part of a convenience store. People have their routine. They get up, they go, grab a coffee at a convenience store, they come in the afternoon for their lottery and evening for their liquor. Makes a very good client. So how do we pick um, a selection strategy of the location? So we do want a strong visibility. So our signage is pink. People see our signage from far away. Okay, we want to make sure that we try to be into our market first. Not that there's going to be not be a hasty market, but try to be there so that we build that community. We want to be able to have parking, easy access so people can come in and come out. Okay, and then we want to have the right customer base, meaning the area should match an everyday convenient family traffic. So one of the things that we will do is we will make sure that we will have our demographic study out there. Okay, sorry about that. We do want to be, one second, sorry about that. We do want to be by schools and we want to be part of local events. We also, one of the things I haven't talked about is to the aspect is basically, and this is very, very important. So people always say, well, if you're an ice cream shop, you're only going to be busy in the summer. No, people do drink ice cream all the time. There's Dairy Queens, and I know some Dairy Queens close in the winter time, but there's Baskin Robbins and everything. But really, what happens to us is in the spring, we do have what we call community activities, and we have product that are seasonal, and we bring them out for the spring. Then, of course, you have your summer. Then in the fall, you have your school routine and trying to build up. We do actually do some school supplies come the fall. And then the winter, my apologies, the winter, we do have we bring in Christmas stuff. So we bring in, we've had some ornaments and we have some lights. We have some costumes. Halloween, we bring in costumes. So we really customize that store to the area that you're in. So let's talk in general about franchise fees and investments. So you're looking at, and I said, 250 to 300,000, depending on the real estate, depending on how much works. You have franchise fee of 35,000. You have royalties of 5%, brand development. Right now we're running a promotion of Tragically Hip ice cream that was developed by us and Kawartha Dairies. We're looking at about 1,800 square feet, and there's a training fee of up to two people, $5,000. Your training and support will have site and build out guidance. Operation training will train you on all the systems, the standards, daily routine, and all of the cost saving aspect of the business. How to save costs and build customer loyalty. We'll guide you on all of our suppliers to make sure that all of our stores are consistent. And then we'll have an opening and an ongoing coaching team. And the great part of small franchisors is that you're able to get to the owner and build that relationship. So when you're ready to have a second store, you can go straight to him and talk to him. You're going to get the marketing support. Let me just see, there's a question that just came in. Okay. There is going to, I'll answer that question very, very shortly. So, oops, sorry, I usually have someone with me, I apologize. You're going to have that marketing support. So we're going to do a big grand opening launch with you so that you build up visibilities, momentum. We have an ice cream truck that we will park in front of your locations. We'll give away ice creams. Depending on the holidays, we'll have some events. One of our last stores that opened did a car wash during their grand opening program, that kind of stuff. Local store marketing will build up the area. We'll come in depending on you. We'll talk to the councilman, the mayor, have them there, the local press. And then long time we're going to have that social media event. And the great part of this business is our business is fun. This is a fun business, and the social media aspect can be fun. We have the Hall of Fame. We have the largest ice cream serve, and we have a challenge to finish. If you can finish that big ice cream, and please go to all of our websites and our social medias to see what happens. So, just in general, the question that came up was, are you interested in, do you have a location out of Ontario? Right now we don't. But we are looking to grow across Canada. So, what is our ideal operator? Okay, we're looking for someone that's hands-on, who's going to get involved. Okay, and we want to have people who value local service and relationship. If you're purely about numbers, and very important, I have no problems to answer questions, but at the end of the day, we want that evolve in the community. So very important on those people on the calls is to make sure that you have that ability to relate to people. We want people to be able to follow the system, maintain the system, okay? And there's some sort of background that is customer service. So we're looking, okay, and the question came up is, where do we want to look? So we're looking for southwestern Ontario, Ontario community markets, Niagara, Durham, eastern Ontario, Quathars, cottage country. Are we looking for, southwestern would be Cambridge, anyways, Cambridge, Guelph, sorry about that. And we're also looking for Windsor. So that's how high. We're looking for Sudbury, Timmins, Northern, and then we're looking all the way to Ottawa. Okay? So what is your next step? So your next step really is to really take a look and see if this is something for you. Number one, once you're really interested, we should have a discovery call. We then will go through an application and qualification and approvals with the franchisor. We'll go to the disclosure document, and then we'll sign the franchise agreement. So very simple process, simple business to enjoy. So I'll open it up for questions, okay, and to see if we have any questions. Would you be interested in a store? Let me read it. I have about 4 questions. Would we be interested in a store in Toronto? So yes. So the answer is yes. When I said about a rounding, those just areas that we do well in, but for sure, we are conscious of the rent, but again, volume and rent all goes together. Are we allowed to bring in our own product? So this is a question we get in any franchise. You're buying a franchise to be able to have standard products. So our rule of thumb is we allowed about 20% of the products to be local. So it has to be local to the market. So that's how it is. So local fudge, local cakes, local um, souvenirs. Everything that is local is where you need to be. So very, very important. Third question is how much sales can we do? So basically, this is a loaded question. I will talk about what the franchise disclosure document is. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to give sales or profitability P&Ls, so you need to do your homework. You need to talk to um, an accountant, understand your financial needs yourself, and visit our stores. And I'll be more than happy to take you around to visit our stores. But there is a act called the Arthur Wishart Act, and there's things franchisor can and cannot say. So that's a very, very good question. The last question I have goes back to someone asking, do we need to be there full time? So again, I get this all the time. Do you need to be there full time? What we ask for is that you know, the more you're on any business and the more you're there, the better it is. The more that people, especially in that type where people come for you and they come for your services. Do you need to work 80 hours a week? No. Do we want you to work 80 hours a week? No. But we need to make sure that you have an operator that's going to build the community and really understand that community. So if you're not going to be all there, you better have a manager that can do what you can do because you're not there. And if you're there, 100% is very good. So, anyways, that's our number. Take a look at it. 905 info at southbrookbusiness.com. We are Enniskillen's business advisory, and that's the principals, Ted, Mila, and myself. We're always here, one of us, to discuss this. If there's no further questions, thank you for coming. It's what I wanted, is about 40 minutes. Don't like the hour webinars. I like when we're short, to the point. Some great questions. Have a great weekend, and look forward to speaking to you, all of you on the call. I appreciate it. Thank you.